Hello guys, hopefully you are doing well. Harry here, and today this video is about the Python inbuilt functions. So today we're gonna talk about get attribute functions and Python global functions. So basically how we're gonna use these two functions, and I will give you some on-ground examples. And basically hopefully this video will help you to understand and learn more about the Python inbuilt functions, right? Okay guys, so let's move on, right? Right guys, so let's start with the get attribute function, right? So let me give you some prime example of the get attribute function. It is used to get the value of the specific attribute of an object in Python, right? So it's take two argument, the object which you wanted to retrieve and the attribute value, right? And the name of the attribute you want to access. So basically I know it's quite I'm like it's quite interesting, right? So basically if the attribute exists in the object, get attribute return its value, right? So let me give you with some example, right? So let me create an class first, right? Let's say class person, right? So basically I'm defining a person over here. Now I'm gonna define I'm gonna define a function where it's gonna be a constructor method that take a name parameter, right? So let's say in it, right, then I will say self, right? Oops, sorry, I took a small. Oops, yeah, self. Then it will be name, right? And after that we need to have self dot name equal to name. So in this we have assigned a name parameter to the name attribute of the instant, right? So I'm gonna run this, and after that I'm gonna create an object. I will say person, right? I will say person, and the person will be like let's say we have to call the class. Then I have to say something like a string where I have to define a name. Let's say Harry, right? So basically how to check it is an object or not? Well, it's quite easy. You can say like print. Even I'm like in Jupyter Notebook, you don't need to type the print, but in case like I'm like just to make the thing easy, I'm just typing print, then open and close parentheses, then I'm typing type and open and close parentheses, then I will say person. Right now, okay, you can run over here. Now you can say it's saying like a class main person, right? So basically what's going over here is like is indicate that the person is an instant of the person class defined in the main module, right? So it is an basically we're talking about the object, right? So basically the person is the object over here, right? So next this is the object, okay? So next what we're gonna do is like we have to use the attribute function now. Let's say attribute, right? And I will say something like get attr, right? So I have to give a two argument. As you remember last time I explained you, we have need to have a two argument. One is the one is just one is just the object, another is our string, right? So I will say person, then I will say name. Okay, so basically if I will print this now, now you can say it says Harry over here, right? So the purpose of this I'm like this function is to like in simple term, get attribute to help you to get the value of an attribute from an object, and you can specify a default value in an attribute I'm like if it doesn't exist, right? So basically most of the cases you won't be using it, but you should know like basically how to use get attribute functions, right? So guys, let's move on. Let's move with the other example. Well guys, next topic is about the global variables, right? So basically you know about the global and the local variables, right? So if we have some basic knowledge on the programming foundations, you know, like if you have a variables outside any function, right, is basically a global. And if you have a any variable inside the functions, we call it as a local variables, right? So what I'm trying to prove a point over here is like it's the same kind of function, same concept, right? Same logic. So function is used to access all the global variables in the current Python module side. So basically it return a dictionary that contain the name and the values of all the global variables. So basically we're going to use the global functions for that, right? So this function allow us to access and work with the global variables within a functions or any other code block, right? In simple term, we can say like globals give us you a dictionary with all the global variables in your program, so you can access and use them when we need, right? So let me give you some example through the Google, right? What is the global and the local look like, right? Right guys, so in the Google, so this is the best example I have seen in the Google. You can see over here outside the function we have the global variable. So inside the function, I'm like foo, we have all the local variables, right? So these are even the local variables. So basically the concept of the global variable is like we can access on this global values, right? So what I'm gonna do now is basically give you a quick example. So let's take an example of a global variables, right? So basically what I can do, I will say like a name, right? Let's say name, right? I will say my name Harry, and I will say age, right? So I'm 25-year-old. I'm gonna run this, and what I'm gonna do next is gonna put more block, right? So now what I can do is like I will say def, right? I will say greet, right? Then open and close parentheses. So I have declared a function side, there's no argument inside the function. I will say global, right? I will say name, right? And I will say name equal to something else. Let's say Alex, right? And let's say print, I can say hello, and I will say name. Oops, sorry, name, right? So I'm gonna run this. So basically I'm gonna call this function now, right? So I will say great, right, open close parentheses. So now we can say says hello Alex, right? But if I say print, right, and I'll say name, then it will say Alex over here, right? So basically what's happened over here is in this example we have a global variables name with the initial value Harry, right? And the global age is just 25, right? Basically what's happened over here is inside the greeting functions we have used the global keyword to indicate that we want to modify the value of the global variable name, right? So basically that's the one. So we want to modify the name, right, over especially the global variables over here, right? So I'm like instead of creating a new local variables, I mean the greet function changed the value of the name variables to Alex now, and then print hello Alex. Okay, so basically now if even I call the name over here, I will get the Alex because the Alex has been assigned into the global variable name. Okay, so that's quite easy, right? So that's very easy. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed watching this video, and I will provide all these files on the link below the description side. You can download this file from GitHub, and basically if you want to ask me any questions, if you have any problem, just feel free to contact me on LinkedIn, right? Or you can put anything into the comment sections, right guys? So I will see you on next video, right? So you have a nice day, right? Cheers and peace.